Not bad, right? Now, imagine being asked to make a video about the latest release from J-Rocket, the PXO Overdrive by Phil X from Bon Jovi. Well, yeah, of course. Besides, I love Phil X, I've been following him since the Fretted Americana days, and obviously I do love Bon Jovi, one of my all-time favorite bands. Now, imagine they tell you, hey, there's a chance for you to actually meet Phil X and talk to him about his new pedal. What would you do? Me, besides not believing it at first, I absolutely said yes, it was going to be amazing. And well, from this point on, things didn't go exactly as planned. It was supposed to be very simple. Book a flight, go to Germany, sit in a room next to Phil X, and talk about the pedal. End of story. But no, Danilo here always has to do that one extra thing. So I thought, you know what would be really fun? If I pretended to play a Bon Jovi song terribly, and then Phil X walked up behind me and told me I was doing it wrong. And then I acted all cocky and annoyed, thinking it was just some random guy bothering me, until I turned around and realized it was him. Phil X, the actual guitarist from Bon Jovi. A funny little skit, very easy to pull off. And in fact, after asking Phil X if he was up for it, he very kindly agreed, and we shot the scene. Here it is.
What? Sorry, that's not it.
Who do you think? Great, right? But no, Danilo here always has to do that one extra thing. Not completely satisfied, I asked to do it a second time because, hey, maybe we can make it even better. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
What? Man. What? That's not it.
Who do you think? Well, yes. That's me hitting Phil X in the face with a guitar. Who do you think? The guy in the background, he knows I am done. Imagine Bon Jovi having a show the next day and Phil X can't make it because I busted his face. They're going to kill me. I was already picturing the lawsuits, my career is over, everyone hating me. I was losing my mind. I had just hit one of my guitar heroes in the face 2 minutes after meeting him. Luckily, Phil X is a true gentleman, super kind and chill. After shaking off the heat, he reassured me and said, alright, let's just go shoot the video in the studio nice and easy, okay? From that point on, it was all downhill. I just had to sit next to him, stay quiet, and let him talk about the new PXO. But no, Danilo here always has to do that one extra thing. I swear, I was literally just sitting down, the video hadn't even started yet, and I decided to crack a joke. Except apparently I am not exactly a natural at this, so Phil X didn't even realize I was just kidding.
Okay.
That's a nice riff. You wrote it?
What?
You wrote it, this riff?
That's the fucking police, man.
At that moment, I just wanted to lock myself in a very dark room and stay there silent forever. Once again, thank God Phil X is an amazing guy, and he laughed it off.
Okay.
That's a nice riff. You wrote it?
What?
You wrote it, this riff?
That's the fucking police, man.
I know.
Oh my god, you fucker. That's very convincing.
So, after nearly raking up 4 lawsuits, we finally managed to record the video. What was supposed to be a quick and a technical demo of his new pedal actually turned out in a great conversation. He demoed his new pedal, we talked about how he approaches big gigs, including those with Bon Jovi, we debunked a couple of myths, he shared some stories, and we geeked out about guitars like 2 regular nerds. So I really want to thank Phil X, Stefan Killerman, J-Rocket, Luca Rossi, Mario, and the whole Face Distribution team for giving me an incredible opportunity, an experience I'll never forget. Unlike them, of course we will probably try to forget I even exist as soon as possible, and there's no way they're inviting me to do something like this ever again. That being said, I leave you to the rest of the video. Trust me, it's a great one. So, here we are, I'm with Phil X at the Guitar Summit 2024. Good morning! And he's just beat the out of me because I played some riff from Bon Jovi's wrong. So,
you know, maybe it's perspective.
okay, I'll take that.
It's all relevant, right?
So unless we are here to talk about my mistakes, which I don't think we're going to do, we want to talk about your brand new overdrive pedal from J-Rocket because it sounds incredible. I mean, I was playing it, but you interrupted me before, but yeah, okay.
I'm sorry.
No worries. So why don't you talk to me about it? So why do you feel the need to create your own overdrive? And what was the approach to create the overdrive?
Well, I mean, I'm as finicky as the next guitar player. I like things, and you know, it's like pizza. Sometimes you want meatball on it, and sometimes you want pepperoni on it. So sometimes you want this overdrive, sometimes you want that overdrive. But over my years of experience, I learned what I like and what I don't like. And two characteristics for me. Characteristics is I love transparency in an overdrive because if my amp sounds great, I don't need to color it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So you want it to be transparent, just give you a little more.
Yeah.
The other thing is sometimes you plug into an amp that they gave you at a back line for back line at a concert. When you fly in, plug into what they brought you, and it's not very good. And then you need an overdrive to be able to make it better and work better with how you play.
Sure.
So those are the two things that I look for. Without the amp. Very clean tone, very rock tone, classic rock, right? So if I put in a little bit of the PXO, I'm in post. So J-Rocket have sent me circuits all for years, right?
And it took a long time to make it, so.
Yeah. So, but it was always, we were all talking about it, and it was always talk, and then talk, and then talk. And then other companies are sending me stuff, and talk, and talk, and talk. But they sent me a circuit this year. And I was like, oh man, this is really special. And I was really enthused with everything that it gave me. Like, I just used that circuit for, and just, it was in a box, it's not just a circuit. But, you know, I was just playing with it some more and plugging it into every amp in my studio and then taking it to sessions and playing it live. It was just a metal box with no art on it and just knobs and stuff because it was the prototype. This is the one, man. This is the one that's going to make me want to just play this overdrive all the time. And there's two circuits. One's the overdrive and one's the boost.
Yeah.
So ideally, like if I'm playing with Phil X and the Drills as an application situation, I have the overdrive give me a little more and the boost to take me to even more.
Okay.
And that's how that works. When I play with Bon Jovi, for instance, you know, it could be a stadium, it could be anywhere, and I have the overdrive give me the solo to Living on a Prayer, and I have the boost give me the solo to Lost Highway.
Of course.
Because it's less driven and a little jangly and stuff.
Yeah, because I saw that very specific thing about the boost placement is that you can choose between pre or post, right?
Yeah. First of all, I thought the pre-posting was a myth.
Okay.
I thought these guys don't know what they're talking about.
But
they
you
know
change
what
your
they're
mind.
talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. Except now I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So the myth is, I busted the myth.
Okay.
In my head. So I found like when I plug into my Friedman half stack, I want to be in post to have the more and even more situation.
Sure.
But when I plug into a combo that's cleaner, I find I use the boost first to color the amp. So it gives me more of what I want, and then I use the overdrive for solos.
Yeah.
So I found the application for both situations, and I thought, do we really need a pre-post? And let me screw around with it. And after I screwed around with it, I'm like, we need that. And you know what I do like in an overdrive that I realized lately? There's two things. One is I prefer the bass and treble knobs instead of just the tone knob. I can't get sometimes what I want. You know, it's a sweet spot.
Yeah, of course.
And if you have 15 minutes, come on, guys, you're on. You don't have.
Yeah. Also because
you can't find that sweet spot.
You're doing a lot of sessions in studios as well.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to tweak the tone accordingly.
I need a little more versatility, right? So the treble on this pedal is so awesome because it doesn't get too bitey, and then it doesn't get too dark. It's a really nice sweep. The bass, it doesn't go like this. You know, when I need more bass, now it's fucking flubby. You know, that kind of thing. So you can find that sweet spot with the bass, And it depends on the amp and it depends on the guitar, but it's easier to find now, you know?
Yeah.
And then the tilt EQ in the boost, you can go really present boost and you can go really dark boost. And the dark boost for me is like, so there's a time where you're just soloing and you want a different sound. And I sometimes only have one pickup, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I want a fat sound so that boost with the tilt EQ counterclockwise all the way gives me that spongy, fuzzy kind of thing. And you can have it in without the drive, and you can have it in with the drive, and you kind of get that American Woman tone, which without having a neck pickup is amazing. So, and it's pretty versatile, and I love that. And you know, when you get an overdrive pedal, people are like, hey, so what's the circuit based on? And I get tired of that because I don't want to compare it to anything.
Of course.
It's like, hey,
you want your own.
Yeah, what does your band sound like? I'm like, you sound like us. So it's like, so I've been saying this all day, and it kind of just jumped into my head, and I just repeat it in every interview. The overdrive circuit is based on holy shit, and the boost circuit is based on what?
Clear explanation.
Clear information. Hey, see, you appreciate it.
I do.
Okay, good.
Also because it's very versatile for this kind of environment where you just came into the room, sit and play, but you had no idea which amp we're going to use, how we're going to mic the thing up. Yeah. So, but you still managed to find your sweet spots and everything.
Because find, you know, I mean, it's rock and roll, right?
Exactly.
It's not science.
Yeah, of course.
Well, it actually is. It is science.
Not for us. At least not for me.
But I feel like what I want is a mid-range that I want to hear, and I want to hear how it responds to my hands. Of course. So we plug into, and we're going direct, and I hate direct, but sometimes life is direct, right? Life is a compromise. Of course. You know, I play with Bon Jovi in an arena or a stadium, and I have to use in-ears. I hate in-ears.
Okay, of course.
The magnets aren't talking. My cabinet is in a box under the stage.
So you're not going to hear it in play.
When I play with the drills, I have the amp behind me, and I can feel my amp move when I hit a note, and it's like, that's beauty to me, right? Of course you can go deaf with that. But my whole point is there's always that kind of compromise, you know what I mean? Like I went to Sweetwater in Fort Wayne, and I did a master class, and I had my Friedman, and I had my prototype PXO. And it sounded amazing. And then the next night we drove 300 miles to the Illinois State Fair, and we opened for Motley Crue, and I had my Friedman and I had my PXO, and it sounded amazing. Of course. So I find there's less compromise now. The other thing is, say at the NAMM show last year, they said, hey, we want you to play at this booth, and we want you to go direct. And I'm like,
I'm not sure about it.
I'm not sure about that. And I go, what do you guys got? And they go, they name something, and I'm like, you mean it's got 3 buttons and a screen, and I got no, you need a sound in 10 seconds, and it's not going to happen. Of course. So I found a direct box not a direct box, but an amp simulator that's in a box. Yeah. And I can work with that. And then I put the circuit before it was the PXO in front of it, and it totally gave me Van Halen. I can work with this.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, so
compromises, but
it's a compromise. But
these are great compromises.
You just got to be happy.
Of course.
And sometimes you're not going to be happy, and you have to realize that it's not working. It's not working. But I can still do my thing. Now that's not about the pedal. That's about the musician that you are.
Because it does happen to you often. Maybe that you're playing and you're hearing that song, it's like, I don't like it, and that affects how you play because maybe you're
it'll always affect but I can always be great.
Oh, of course.
Did I just say that? So when I played 500 guitars on Fretted Americana, they weren't all set up. There was always tuning problems. There was always this, and it's fretting out, and then this Gibson sounds great, but that Strat doesn't, and it was all that, and plugged into a little amp, and it gave me the ability to I like the challenge, but not everybody likes a challenge. I like to walk onto a stage and pick up a guitar I've never played, plug into an amp I've never played, and still be Phil X. Yeah. Now, what makes that better is if I have the PXO in my pocket.
Of course. Yeah, it's much easier. But I do remember all of your demos with Fretted Americanas already years back, because I was one of those YouTube nerds that was watching all of your videos back then. Yeah. And I remember you were so enthusiastic, so energetic, despite of the guitar. Maybe it wasn't set up properly, the sound was, but you had the energy nonetheless. Yeah. So that's...
Thanks, man.
No, I mean, to me, sometimes I get bummed out with the tone.
Everybody does.
And I kind of tend to play worse because I'm thinking about the tone. Maybe other ones are not enjoying my tone. I get in this loop and I'm not playing better because I'm thinking about how people hear my tone.
See, but you know that's about being in your head.
Exactly, it's always
you got to
in my
get
head.
out of your head.
Yeah.
If I'm not happy with the tone or something like that, I have to not think about it. Because if you think about it,
It's worse.
It's like if you make a mistake and think about the mistake, you just keep making mistakes.
Of course.
If you make the mistake and recover and go, fuck that shit, no problem, you have a great show.
Of course.
But you won't let yourself have a great show if you get in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when people ask me, was I nervous when I got on the first Bon Jovi stage, which was 50,000 people in New Orleans at the Jazz Fest in 2011, with
And the answer is?
a few hours of rehearsal. And they said, were you nervous? And I'm like, you know, it's what you tell yourself.
Of course,
right?
yeah, I get it.
So to myself, I was like, man, you've been playing and singing your entire life. It's just Bon Jovi songs. You got this. You're a fucking rock star. Go kill it. I do some push-ups, some lunges, and go.
And that works.
It's true.
And it works.
It works, yeah.
I can see why your attitude is what brought you here. You are a very successful
here in this
guitarist.
room?
In this room with me,
mean
no,
the city?
probably not. But
You mean?
I just saw how many people were in queue to
Yeah.
see you and get your autograph because now you're such a huge star. Everyone knows who you are. You play amazingly, and I think it's also because of your attitude. You're such a cheerful guy, strong attitude.
man,
so,
thank you.
so that's I think what differentiates you
Well, you know,
to others.
I've been in a situation where because I've gotten to the status where I know a lot of the guys I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
And they're all great guys.
Yeah.
And then you meet somebody who isn't, and you're like, why?
I get it. I get it. A couple of months ago, I got the chance to meet Slash,
Yeah.
which is my number one hero. And everyone say, do not meet your heroes. Do not meet your heroes.
Yeah.
He was one of the most down-to-earth guy and super kind. So it's
Yeah.
like, the bigger you guys are, the most humble and most fun
Well,
to talk to.
it's one of those things, and you know, Tommy Lee, right?
Yeah.
I've been in the studio with him for like 100 times, right? And he's such an amazing dude. And when he's making music and he's in the studio, he's like a kid in a candy store. It's his heart is this big, and he's just loving every second of it, right? So when somebody comes up to me and they go, "Man, I met Tommy Lee last night. What an asshole!" I'm like,
not
"Well,
sure.
maybe he
Not
was
sure.
having a bad day."
Yeah, of course. It happens.
Because he's not allowed to have a bad day.
We're humans.
Maybe you caught him at the wrong time. Of
course.
Because he's never
Exactly.
been that guy to
course.
me, or to anybody I know. So it's like, and I'm just using that as an example. People always say, I met this guy at the Rainbow last night, what a dick. I'm like, fuck, man.
Nah,
Why are
man.
people so quick to judge?
Of course.
People are people.
Of course.
No matter how famous they are.
I mean, you had a very stressful day today because I saw you, but you're here with
Holy
me.
shit.
Yeah, you're here with me and taking the time, so I really appreciate that. So
And me,
thank
I
you so
never
much.
sit down. You know what I mean? I never, and I'm like, I think I need to sit down.
You can have the chair if you want. You can
Thanks,
sit
man. I
there.
appreciate it. So, as an example, this is like, this is the tone that if this was the setup,
Of
this
course,
would be
yeah.
like the Living on the Prayer solo. Overdriven rock tone. If I have to play the solo to Lost Highway,
Lost Highway, yeah.
I would use the boost just a little cleaner. So you get. So it's got
much
that.
cleaner, yeah.
And then you can also use the tilt EQ to give it a little twang for the country setting.
Of course.
Right? Now my other thing that I love, if I turn the tilt EQ all the way, it's got a little squishy.
Yeah.
And it's got a little, a really nice thickness to it.
Of course.
And I'm still on the treble pickup.
Yep.
Because sometimes I don't have a
You
neck
don't have the neck
pickup.
pickup.
Now if I throw the drive in front of it,
Both?
aside from being noisy. Now the thing is, sometimes when you set a sound like that, it's not clear.
Of course.
Like, and you can't play fast.
It gets muddy.
And even right now, what I was thinking is don't play fast because it's going to get all muddy.
Okay.
But I heard every note.
You did.
You know what I mean?
Of
So
course.
it's kind of like that. I love that clarity.
It's very transparent. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to turn the master down. And here, hold on a second. The master down. So if I was playing with the drills, and I'd be going. So that's my overdriven. I just got the overdrive in a little bit.
Yep.
And then when I go for the lead, I could kick in the boost. And then you have those sounds going on. I had it a little too dark. So it's like. So the tilt EQ, when you add the tilt EQ to the other EQ, everything kind of works together.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you put a little bit of this, it's going to get really bright. And you might want to turn the tone down in the overdrive. But when they're working together, that's what I'm saying. The versatility is amazing. You can have so many different characteristics when you're playing guitar. And I mean, that's the part of playing guitar we love, right? What makes our hands want to talk.
You also do play with a lot of intensity.
That's a problem.
It's a problem for you?
It's not a problem for me. It's a problem playing with this intensity sometimes. Yeah.
So if I were using the same exact setting, but I will the one playing, I think it will sound completely different.
Completely different.
Completely
But
different.
you can make a couple of adjustments and it would be what you wanted, you know? That's what the whole thing about this is like, you know, when you had like not a lot of control in an overdrive pedal back when I was young.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd be playing into a half Marshall stack and I'd have a little overdrive and someone would get up to jam and they'd pick up my guitar and they're like, okay, so where's the gain? I'm like, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And they're like, well, oh, you can use the overdrive. And then they put in the overdrive and they're like, that's it? Yeah. I'm like, it's because how my intensity, and it's not flawless, but it's coming from here.
Of course.
So the intensity is what I want it to speak. So I'm a less gain kind of player, you know?
I thought you were going to use a lot more gain, but you're not. For example, it's very clear, it's very transparent, your tone.
And I think it's the same thing. Overdrive pedals, and pickups, all that stuff. I'm looking for clarity all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, because I love pickups and I love changing pickups. And people are like, hey, you just got that Les Paul 59, 60th anniversary. What did you change the pickups to? I'm like, I didn't.
Nothing.
Because it was fine.
Yeah.
It didn't need anything, you know. And then I like low output pickups. And then if you need a little more, you use the overdrive for that. Right?
Yeah, and
because if you can't go backwards, if you got a super hot pickup and you want Jimmy Page, it's not really gonna do it, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Another question I gotta ask is the one single pickup guitar sounding better? Is a myth or not, like the pre-post boost?
I don't think it's a myth. I was with ESP for a while. I had 2 LTD Vipers.
Yeah.
And because it had 24 frets and where the neck pickup sat, it didn't sound good. And I tried different pickups and it never sounded good. So I just said, what's the point? Take it out, right?
Yeah.
So I took it out and I noticed immediately that this pickup sounded better. See, my belief is that even though there's even though the pickup's not engaged,
Of course.
there's a magnet in there that's still sucking on the strings.
Sucking the strings, yeah.
So the point from here to here has that interruption, if you can call it an interruption.
Yeah, I get what
so
you're
if it's
saying.
from here to here, then this is getting a truer vibration and longer vibration.
It actually makes sense.
So, I mean, I learned that, again, playing 500 guitars at Fred Americana, and the juniors to me were like, why do these guitars sound the best?
Yes.
And then I'd pick up a Fender Esquire,
yeah.
and I'd go, fuck, this guitar sounds amazing, because they didn't have neck pickups. And that's what got me going. But when I did the two Viper back to back, I'd plug this guitar in and go, okay, it's the same pickups, the same controls, same everything, same wood, same weight.
Yeah.
But this guitar without the neck pickup has a little more mojo than this.
And this one.
And I got out the ruler and make sure they were the same height and everything. I went nuts.
Yeah, you did.
Because that's what we do, right? And it just did, and that was the proof for me. It was like, it does.
Okay, so we busted 2 meets in one day.
Holy sh!
To meet the new PXO.
Yeah.
And to bear with my horrible English, but
Hey,
I'm kind of nervous to be here.
I'm getting it all, man. I'm getting it all.
I'm kind of nervous to be here with you, but thanks so much for explaining how the pedal works.
No problem.
And I hope you have a great time here at the Guitar Summit.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you so much.